It's a saucer-shaped UFO hovering silently above the road. Cahill screams, alerting her husband to the looming threat. But at that same moment, the UFO speeds off into the night. The family continues on their drive home, keeping a lookout for the UFO. Suddenly, a blinding light appears before them. Cahill slams on the brakes in terror. But her fear is quickly replaced by a strange calm. Cahill feels her body relax as she settles into an almost dreamlike state. Seconds later, the light disappears, and Cahill regains her senses. She asks her husband what happened, but he too was affected, as were their children. No one in the car has any clear recollection of events that took place just moments earlier. Returning home, Cahill has a nagging feeling the journey has taken much longer than it should. Checking the time, she's shocked to discover the family is an hour overdue. It's a bizarre phenomenon ufologists call missing time.
Now, missing time is, again, a key component to this abduction phenomenon. And it can happen when you're driving down the road. People have reported that they're driving around, they see something strange. Next thing they know, it's 20 minutes later, or it's 2 hours later, or in some cases, days later.
In the days that follow, Cahill begins to have dim recollections of that missing hour. There, they were met by a contingent of humanoid aliens. Then she remembers being overcome by terror. The next moment, the family was back in the car. The UFO, nowhere to be seen. It might all be passed off as a terrible dream, were it not for the mysterious triangular mark Kelly Cahill discovered on her stomach following her ordeal. Was the Cahill family abducted by extraterrestrials? And did they experience missing time? For some abductees, missing time may amount to no more than a few minutes. But for others, the ordeal has been known to last much longer. Unsealed case file. The Chilean Time Warp. Pampa Juscuma, Chile, April 1977. Corporal Armando Valdez is part of a border patrol monitoring the nation's frontier with Argentina. Coming off duty, Valdez and the rest of the patrol take shelter for the night in a stable. But the men are shaken from their sleep in the early hours of the morning when two strange lights descend from the sky to land nearby. They set out to investigate. The patrol watches in astonishment as Valdez approaches one of the blazing objects, only to vanish into its blinding light. The UFOs then disappear without a trace. The patrol scours the area for their missing comrade. 15 minutes later, they hear a loud thump and are amazed to discover the missing corporal lying on the ground a short distance away. His fellow soldiers stare at him in disbelief as Valdez is suddenly sporting a week's growth of beard. Looking at his digital watch, Valdez is shocked to